Hi students, I'm going to show you how to do a wrapping paper design where you lay out your objects into rows. So first I'm going to open my image. I'm going to use the pumpkin image again. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my background. So I'm going to try using the quick selection tool, which sometimes works well. If it doesn't, you can use the lasso tool and cut it out carefully around it. So you can see it's selected around the image quite well. So I'm just going to go to the select and inverse and delete the background, which leaves me this shadow down at the bottom. So I'm going to use the lasso tool to cut that out. So your lasso tool's over here. I'm just going to zoom in and then work my way around the shape carefully. Oh, just delete, just go to select and deselect if your highlights are still on. I'm going to try and take my time and carefully draw around the pumpkin. You can do this in small sections if that's easier. I'm just going to do it in one just for quickness so I can show you lot how to do this. Okay, so then just delete that. And then I'm going to go to select and deselect again and then just zoom back out. And then I'm going to insert a new layer. So layer and new, and I'm going to do this as my coloured background, so just make sure I'm on that layer. I'm going to hide this layer because otherwise I will brush onto the pumpkin, so I'm going to hide that layer so we don't see that anymore. Then get my brush. I'm going to just choose a colour that's from these, so this is all your different kind of colour choices. Choose a pinky colour and then get a big brush. Okay, and then just colour in the background. The bigger your brush, the quicker it'll be. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to just show the layer again by unclicking the eye. And then you can't see that at the minute because this layer is below this layer, so I just need to move the layer so this one becomes below that layer. Okay, and then I'm just going to start creating the design. So I'm just going to go to Image, Edit and Free Transform, and then change the size of the pumpkin. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer, so I'm looking at the background there, so let me just make sure I'm on the right layer again. So just tick that, I'm going to go onto the pumpkin layer and then do Edit and Free Transform. So get the pumpkin to the size I want for the wrapping paper design and just press tick. And then I'm going to just move the pumpkin to where I want it to be. And then I'm going to duplicate the layer. So here, and just duplicate the layer. I'm going to do that 4 times. And then using my move tool, I just click on the different layers and move the pumpkins along. So this is your move tool up there, and the pumpkins are just behind. So just keep clicking on your layer and move in your pumpkin. And try and space it out nice and neatly, like it would be on a wrapping paper design. Once I've got one layer in place, the quickest way is to merge those layers again, and then I can duplicate the layer. So if you just go to the top layer and then just merge down so that the layers then become one layer. Okay, so you can see this is one layer now. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I'm going to do that again 4 times. And then using the move tool, I can just move my layers below. So again, just make sure that it's lined up where you want it to be, and then you can click down on your next layer and keep moving until you're happy with the layout. Okay, once you're happy with the layout, if I wanted to get that final layer of pumpkins on, I could just go to my crop tool and actually make that slightly bigger, but then I might have to go back and add the paintbrush. Okay, so you can see that's bigger, but now you can see that I'm going to have to colour in this background. So if I hide all these layers, so we don't get paint on them, and then just go to my paintbrush tool again and just colour the bottom of this layer in. Oh, press OK. Get the paintbrush tool. And then just colour that in. So, and then I'm just going to go back to these layers so I can see them again. Okay. When I'm happy with that, I'm just going to, so you can save this now, so I'm happy with that design. If I just want to crop it down slightly, I can use the crop tool and just make it to an even design, so just like that, and then press my tick. And then I'm going to file and say export as a PDF. So you can do this and save it to your computers. Then just press save. And then also, if you did want to try, so once you've done that and you've showed it with one colour background, it's quite easy to change the background colour again. So you could just go to your colour picker tool, get your brush again, go to your colour picker, and you could try different backgrounds and see what they're like. So let's just check I'm not going to draw on the pumpkins yet. Sometimes you need to make sure you hide your layers, sometimes you don't. So I'm going to try it with a blue background. So you could do different coloured layouts. And it's this quick that you can just colour in the background and just change the colours behind it. Okay, and then you could do the exact same sort of thing again, but this time with different, you could do the layered thing. So if I just delete these layers, drop these in the bin, I'll quickly try and show you the other edit as well. So I'm going to drop these layers into the bin. It's not seeming to let me. Or you can just delete the layers. So I'm just going to delete the layers. So now I've just got a background again, but then I've got the pumpkin image on this slide. So I'm just going to show you again quickly. I'm going to chop out this pumpkin, or I could just file and open the pumpkin again. So I'll just open the pumpkin again. So I'm just going to put a new background in again. And I'm going to chop out the pumpkin, so I'm just going to get the brush size really back small, because sometimes this affects the quick select tool. So I'm just going to try the quick selection. Which doesn't seem to, am I on the right? I'm not on the right layer at the minute. So quick selection. Okay, and then select and invert. So this time I'm showing you the layered design. Delete the background. Again, the lasso tool. So it's the same, basically the same process every time, but this time I'm just going to do a different kind of layout. So I'm just going to show you a different kind of layout. So I'm just going to go to select and deselect and then use just the lasso tool around. I'm just going to try and draw it quite quickly, just so that you get the idea. You can take your time and do it much neater. So you can zoom in, so you can get it really, really neat. So just on view and zoom. Oh, I can't select it this time, so I'm just going to quickly draw that back in. And delete. And then I'm going to go to select and deselect. And then I'm going to go to my layer 2, hide this layer. And then I'm going to select a colour that I want, so this time I might go for more of a greeny colour. Get a big brush up here to change the size. Quickly colour in the background. Okay, then I'm going to show the main layer again, and again need to just move that above that layer. So this time I'm going to try a different design, so I'm just going to go to edit and free transform and start doing different sized layers. So this one takes a little bit longer, but just playing about with different sized layouts. So I can just keep duplicating this layer. So if I just duplicate it a few times, and then all I'm going to do is click on my layer and then go to edit and free transform and then move, and you can rotate the objects, you can flip the objects, you can make the objects bigger, okay, and then put them behind each other and things. And again, you'll be able to just change the colour backgrounds really quickly. So I'm going to pause the video while I do a few more, just do one more layer to show you. So keep working down your layers, edit, free transform, move your pumpkin and just sort of lay it where you want it to be. So remember, you can overlay the overlap the pumpkins. You can bring the pumpkin to a different, if you want it above that one, so I can put it above it. So you get the idea. So I'm just going to pause the video while I do. So just going to show you the final bit. So I'm just going to duplicate another layer and go to edit and free transform again. Put a final pumpkin sort of over here. If you're wanting to know which layer you're working on, you've got your eyes there, so you can sort of play about with that if you're not sure which layer you've duplicated. Okay, I'm going to, rather than sitting there and filling out those bits, I'm just going to crop this down now. So I'm just going to use the crop tool, which is there, and I'm going to crop this design down. So I'm happy with that paper design now. And press my tick, okay? And then you can do the file and save as again and save it as a PDF, export as a PDF. And I'm just going to show you can, so make sure you save that. And again, you can just keep changing the coloured background. So you can just go over here and try out different colours. So you can experiment with your different colour backgrounds. So just get your big brush again. And you can experiment with the different coloured backgrounds. And do different, so you're showing lots of different variations. Just make sure you're on the right layer. I don't think I've actually changed the colour, that's why it's not showing. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. So try out different layouts using different objects and then show them with different coloured backgrounds, so you're experimenting.